in your industry, you need to showcase your clothes so that they will be bought. You're not mass producing something in a factory in Bangladesh or in a factory in Ajegunle or something. And those shows are not cheap. So how do you get around that and still make money?
It's a fantasy conversation because myself and Paul were having this conversation, like we're comparing Nigeria and South Africa, and apparently it's the same thing. I was like, okay. He was like, thank God, the same thing. I look at it whenever I see a problem in my life. What I look for the opportunity in it and how to turn it around. Right? I can't do a fashion show by myself of this magnitude with the stage and the lights and the people and the whole that. So this is an opportunity. So all the money I would have thought of using to do my fashion show, how about I just put a little bit more into this collection, which, channels are going to film and going to put it out there to millions of people. There's going to be newspapers covering. It's going to go to lots of people. There's going to be talk about it on the web. So I think, this is advertising. Sorry, I have 10 years experience in marketing. I have a 10 years experience in marketing. So this is advertising for me. So my models wouldn't just walk up and down the runway. They will create a sensation on the runway. You remember the show. If you remember the show, it was fun. You remember the clothes the guy was wearing when he did the little split on the runway. Do you get what I mean? So there's little things that add to it. Because now I've been conformed to my Nigerian environment that makes me understand that. So this is what I need to show. That's why I'm showing the collection that I made all the way in January now. I didn't show it anywhere else. It was meant to be for my Arise collection. I kept it till it was worthy to be shown somewhere. So now I'm going to showcase it here. So all the money I spent, all of a sudden I feel like, whew, it's not wasted. For once, I had more clothes than the models. Normally the guys are like, will I get something? I'm like, guys, I have everything for you guys, and I had to take some things back because I had enough for them. So that's how I look at it. So that's the advertising. So you start looking at who I always ask questions of someone. Where did you hear about me? From whom did so kind of like trace it lately. Yeah. I have a lot of customers in Port Harcourt. I ask them where did you hear about me? They're like, oh, I saw someone. So you kind of like use that line to continue tying up to the others. So that's how I see it.
Adeba, you were going to say something.
Oh, that was in relations to talking about quality. The designers knowing about the quality. And it brings me back to the younger ones who are coming up. Because many have been to maybe the fashion colleges. Because designers now are split two ways. You have those who studied fashion and those who picked it up because they had a natural interest in it, and then they've been able to develop very well. And then you have the...
Which are you, by the way?
I trained in it as well.
Okay.
So, but then you have the younger ones, and whichever category they come up with, there are so many skill sets that are needed that they are not even aware of, and they have not been fortunate enough to mix with people who have been in the industry for years, to be able to get an opportunity to say, can I see how this is done? Or can you tell me how this is done? Because in the first place, they probably expect that you're going to be snobbish, or you're going to be, horrible, or, and so they find it a little intimidating in a way. But I'm sure for all of us here, we would gladly and happily say unto somebody who comes in and says, can you tell me how this is done? Mostly I would get asked in an interview, what would you say to a younger designer? It has to be your life. It has to be because you love it. It's your passion, it's your calling, it's your purpose. And if it is as such, everything you've got has to go into it, 150%. You have the times when you'll be knocked down, pick yourself up and get on with it. That's a race of life. That's your life. That's what you're going to live. But if you're not there, please feel free, and I'm sure most of the designers would gladly oblige to show you how things are done. So you can not only shine here, you can go abroad and excel.
Okay. Paul, very quickly, one of the things that I've heard across the table here has been the fabric, but mentioned in bits, in bits, and bits. Where do you find the fabrics, and how do you decide what fabric to use for what design.
Yeah, you know, it was very interesting listening to all of this in terms of the young designers and what I want to say is in South Africa as well, you know, we have so many fashion colleges, so many young designers young people wanting to be fashion designers. And yeah, you need to have the passion, but we have also become so accustomed to being a very instant kind of community, an instant world. And I think the impatience that young people have in terms of I'm one of those who never studied fashion design. It happened to me, and I wish I had gone to fashion college in many ways, because there are lots of things I had to discover the hard way. Mm-hmm. But it is patience. It's to have the time and the energy and to put everything into it and to realize you are not going to be famous overnight.
Yeah.
You need time, you need dedication, and you need hard work. And I always say to the young kids in South Africa, if you have to win the trust of your client, so that those people will be prepared to spend their money and not waste their money. And on the other hand, you know, I have 2 fabric shops in Cape Town, Elegance Fabrics, and Frank has been there many a time. And I travel very vast to Japan, be it to Europe, to China, to source fabrics for our shops. And we really try to be the upmarket fabric shops in Cape Town. And my biggest challenge is to buy good quality and incredible variety that you can use that would stimulate your creativity. And it is so important, you know, I see people coming into the fabric shop and they're coming with a picture. It might be an Elisab dress or Dolce & Gabbana, and they want to be able to find the fabric and copy it immediately like that. But as a designer, you know, we have to have that ability to look at the Elisab then, and I say to the young kids, that must only be your inspiration for the dress. You cannot copy the dress.
Yes.
If there's something that can talk to you, and then you must use your creativity. As you said earlier, you can go to Joel's and Sons and buy a piece of fabric for £1,000 a meter. If you can't afford the whole £1,000 a meter, perhaps you can only buy 1/3 of it. But your creativity will allow you to use that
it
into a
effectively.
design to create something beautiful. And that's where your originality and your talent has to come out to be a couturier.
Yep.
And not having copied someone, having just taken a piece of fabric and made a dress, but how you combine things. That is what design, that's what couture is about. And then it comes to quality.
Yes.
And the young kids cannot be in a hurry to be on the top. A career is climbing a ladder.
Yes.
Every week and every day you climb a step to reach the top. And you know that if you want to sell something at a good price, you have to give quality. You have to win the trust of the people, and that way you will go forward.